Hello and welcome to another video. So, yeah, a bit of a weird one, this one. Not something I see a lot of people talking about. Specifically, their plans for collecting over a set year. So, I thought I'd just talk about that a little bit, sort of what consoles I'm really aiming for, any major games I'm really aiming for. Maybe some ones that I'm Ianari on. Because there may be somewhere I'm like, maybe, but we'll see. So, and then next week I think I'm going to do a 32X update video, because I've actually picked up 3 games recently, and I thought, well, if you've watched the channel recently, you know what 2 of those are. But I thought it'd be nice to kind of go through the collection and see. But today. So as I've said in a previous video, I'm not super invested in spending crap loads of money on games this year. I don't want to make them a crutch. I don't want it to be like, I'm really sad, I'm going to buy a video game. So I figured today, I just kind of lay out some of my plans for the year and go, right, here's what I want, here's what I'm going to get, here's how I'm going to get it. So let's just start with the big one. I want a Switch 2. Now, get this, I've never actually bought a console on the day of its launch. Ever. Like, ever. And I bought, like, the Polymega. I pre-ordered the Polymega back in the day. I did actually pre-order 2 more games for it yesterday. Just quite a lot of money, including a controller. So yeah, Polymega have announced 2 more of the Polymega collection. Tiger Heli and World Cross something. I don't know too much about the second one. I know a little bit about World Heli. I know it's something plan. You can tell I did a lot of research before I bought these two games for the Polymega. But that is a big part of this year. I'm very interested in getting more games for it. Maybe more games ahead of time. So, for example, I'm quite keen on... Basically, I'm interested in 5 major systems this year. 5 major systems. 2. Only two sort of play into the Polymega. Well, 6 major systems, but 2 only really play into the Polymega. And that is the Polymega. Specifically, I'm going to get all, but maybe as many of the Polymega games as I can, because I can guarantee you there aren't many of these floating around the UK. There's probably, I don't know, 10. Maybe. Depends how many active collectors they are for this particular collection. But it's a collection I'm invested in. It's a collection I've spent. It's a system I've spent a lot of money on. I've spent an inordinate amount of money on it over the last 2 years. And, you know, whatever. Got my hair today. Anyway. So, kind of getting into the consoles I'm really looking forward to the most. Switch 2. I've never bought a game console at launch, as I'd said. Even the Polymega. Hadn't. PS5, no. I've never bought an Xbox at launch, which is pretty wacky, considering I was very into the 360 and the original Xbox growing up. Exhibit A. But Switch 2's sort of demanding my attention. I want it to be the first, probably the last, but the first console to kind of make me go, I could buy that at launch. I'm really hoping this big direct they've got planned on the 2nd of April. The 2nd of April. So literally 6 weeks away, if that. 6 weeks away. We're going to see a load of games. Even if it's 5. Hopefully it won't just be 5. I'm hoping it'll be more than that. But I'm hoping to see a bunch of games where I can go, right, I want that. I want that specific game. And I'm really hoping it's a new Fire Emblem. And I'm really hoping it's not like Engage, because Engage was shit. I'm hoping it'll be more like Three Houses. So, really banking on a new Fire Emblem being in that sort of launch lineup, even if it is like launching next year. something new. I know they did 1-2 Switch, which I don't care about, but they did ARMS on the Switch, which is great, and I thought was fantastic. I'd want that. I'd want maybe ARMS, but like ARMS 2. The game didn't sell very well, unfortunately. But yeah. I'm aiming to get one, because I'm quite invested in... I'm mostly invested in retro games this year. I'm more interested in getting stuff I don't own, stuff I've wanted for a long time, things like that. I'm mostly done with the ludicrously expensive games, thankfully. There's certain ones I wouldn't mind getting. I wouldn't mind getting maybe Fire Emblem for the GameCube, but I could live without it, let's be honest. Could really live without it. So, that's the major console. It's the major console. Now, obviously, there's the Atari VCS, there's the Polymega, there's PS5. I know there's going to be last year was very PS5 heavy. I'm kind of hoping this year will be more retro game heavy. But that's where we're kind of going. So I'm aiming for six or seven consoles that I want to invest in. I say invest, like I'm a businessman. 6 or 7 consoles I kind of want to get more into, and I just want to get more games I'm going to enjoy. Major one being my video last week, which was the Atari Jaguar, especially for games like Ultra Vortex, Cybermorph, maybe not Cybermorph, but certainly Tempest 2000. I've got Alien vs Predator on my mind, Missile Command 3D, maybe Attack of the Mutant Penguins. I've got Hover Strike on my mind. I wouldn't mind picking up some of the CD games, but a lot of those are hideously expensive, like unobtainably expensive. But you know, maybe. But yeah, I mean, I bought the Jaguar late last year. I bought 14 games for the bloody thing in the span of 3 months, which is nuts. I bought 6 in the last month alone, which is crazy. But yeah, I do want to get more into it. I want to get more into its library. I want to start building it up in a way that I like. Maybe buy some more boxes, like some repro boxes for the for some of the games. That would be nice. I've got a similar plan for the N64, because I've now got 2 box games, and I'd like to get repro ones, because why not? They're also very expensive. They are, but it's cheaper to buy those than it is to buy boxed games. Way cheaper. Platform that I'm interested in getting into, but certainly don't really care if they're boxed, is the Virtual Boy. Now, yeah, that is a relatively mint condition of Mario Clash, but there are other games on this platform that I do want to get. I like the Virtual Boy. I don't think it's amazing. Let's be perfectly honest. I think it's a aggressively mediocre console, and it's certainly not one I pop in every now and then, unless I want to get burnt retinas. But it is a system I want to collect more for. I have Wario World. Virtual Boy Wario World is on my list. That is a game I want to own, like an actual copy of, not just a repro. There's a few I'm maybe going to get reproduction copies of, but in general, Wario World is going to be kind of a major one to get. That's kind of the goal for that system this year. Get Wario World for the Virtual Boy. Simple as that. Yeah. Nice and easy for the Virtual Boy. Maybe a couple of others. Maybe some repros. Who knows? But with the... next up... 32X. Now, I'm really, really liking the 32X. I'm really liking it. I do want to pick up a couple more games for it. Tempo's on my list. I wouldn't mind getting some of the sequels that came out on the Saturn. So I know that there is a... Is it that one? No. There are you. Oh, how weird. I seem to have lost it. It's probably there. There it is. Yeah. Stellar Assault. Now, Stellar Assault was known as Shadow Squadron in America and Japan. It's nice. Had a physical release. Not physical release. Had a sequel arrive on the Saturn, as I said. Saturn I'm not collecting too much for this year. Like, there may be some games I pick up, but I think I'm not done with it. I'm never done with the Saturn. Saturn I'm never done with. GameCube I'm never done with, because they're both awesome. But, yeah. There's a couple games on there. Tempo is another one. Tempo is a 32X game I really want. Really want that, and I really want an actual copy of Blackthorn. Blackthorn's the big one here. Now, I've got a repro copy of Blackthorn, and that's kind of what swayed me. That being said, the case is still sticky, and I've had it for about 3-4 years now, which is great. Bought that off a guy called Krebatech, who I think's sort of still around, but I really hope that guy's repros don't have sticky frickin' labels anymore. It's just, I hate them. I hate them. They're not the right shape. They're not the right anything. They're just garbage. And I'm going to be slowly replacing them. T-Mech. There's a copy of Calibri out there that I know I could get for pretty cheap that is a repro, but I'm hoping it won't look like Krebatech's one because it looks like shit. So, yeah, I'm going to be sort of sweeping my way through those and replacing them. Blackthorn's the major one, though. So I've got, like, a major game for each system for the Jack. For the Polymega, it's just buy the 2 latest, which I've done. For the 32X, it's actually Blackthorn. I really, really, really like Blackthorn. So if I can find a decent copy of that for a decent price, totally buying it. Virtual Boy, Warrior World, Jaguar, AVP. Here's sort of the major next one now. So this isn't Polymega orientated, but the 3DO. Now I did buy PO'd when it came out on Switch, and that's arrived today, which is cool. And I'm a big fan of PO'd. I think it's terrible in all the right ways. And Killing Time. I love Killing Time. I really, really, genuinely love Killing Time. So the fact that Killing Time is getting a decent physical release, booyah. If they want to do like Escape from Monster Manor or anything, I'll probably buy it. But the major one I want to get for that, for the 3DO this year, is a Mercenary. Now that's a game that's eluded me for a very long time. It's not ludicrously expensive either. It's just a game I keep forgetting. I keep going, remember it later. And I never do. I never remember the bloody thing, which is great. But yeah, I'm aiming to finish off the 3DO games. So, Iron Angel of the Apocalypse Requiem, or Tetsujin Requiem. So I got Iron Angel of the Apocalypse. I want the next one. So I want Requiem, and I will get it. I don't care how much it is, I just will. Mercenary. So it's 2 beginning with I. Icebreaker, maybe. And Crash and Burn. Those are the 4 last games I really want for the 3DO, and I think they're going to be pretty interesting. I did pick up BioFury, which is like a first-person shooter, but it's literally just a Wolfenstein skin. And the case is scratched. Oh, I bought that last year. That's a new game. That's a new game released by Retro Love Letter, which was cool. Guy was nice enough. More than nice enough. I accidentally bought it on his website and I went, crap. Because for international shipping, you have to buy it via eBay, which is very weird. But I contacted him. He went, dude, I've cancelled the order. I'm not charging you. I've refunded. He refunded me within about an hour. I emailed him and he refunded me in an hour. So I was like, I'm buying it off eBay. Like, if he's going to be that quick and that speedy, I'm buying it off eBay. And you know what? Game's pretty solid. Even came with a little note, I think. Or just a little, World of Games, which is pretty sick. But yeah, quite happy with that. Pretty cool game. Haven't played too much of it, but I'll get around to it. Anyway, so yeah, I said there were 6 or 7. Oh, what could that be? Simple. PC Engine. There is another, which is, I have 2 copies of Breaking in the same case, which is sure. Explains why the case is bulky. Anyway, yeah, I really want to get into collecting for the PC Engine, TurboGrafx, that sort of thing. TurboGrafx games are expensive. They're quite expensive. Not prohibitively so, but certainly, like, very. And here's the kicker. I'm not a big lover of 8-bit. Not a big lover of 8-bit or 16-bit gaming. I'm just never have been. It's not my era. You may have noticed from all the games I've been talking about, 32-bit is kind of my bread and butter. It's the weird crap. It's that weird, ugly proto-era before we got, like, 6th gen and 7th gen, 8th gen, 9th gen, all that crap. It really is the proto-era. So I'm quite happy maybe picking up a few games for it. I'm mostly interested in things like maybe Ease, maybe some of the other games. Specifically, they're very expensive. The CD side of things, I'm actually quite interested in Loom. Loom on the TurboGrafx CD was the only port of Loom that came to consoles, which shock. But no, it might have come to... It did technically come to Dreamcast with Scum VM, but in general, you generally look... Well, too many generals. You're really looking at games... I lost my train of thought. That's great. No, you're looking at games that are very limited in scope, in terms of what they could do at the time, and whilst some find a charm to that, I find more of a charm to the janky shit that comes with 32X, or 32-bit, Jaguar, notwithstanding. But yeah, so that's kind of it. That's kind of my plans for the year. 3DO, Jaguar, 32X, PC Engine, a little bit of Virtual Boy, and the Switch 2. Not really that bothered about anything else, to be honest. I know people are like, oh, Avowed has come out, it's amazing, and I'm going to be honest with you, I've sworn off Xbox. I'm done. I'm done with it. I don't buy Game Pass. I hope it doesn't crash and burn, but they've basically ditched the Series X. They've ditched the console, so why should I waste my money on a subscription service when I could just buy the game? Like, I own half of the shit on there anyway, so it doesn't really bother me. It's not something I care about. Never will be. But, yeah. So, to be honest, yeah. Retro Game Year. We're looking at Retro Game Year. I'm probably going to look back on this video, like, next February and go, yeah, it wasn't a Retro Game Year. Bought a load of new stuff, because stuff came out that I actually wanted to play. March, for example, is very heavy for that. Very heavy. It's extraordinarily heavy for that. You've got Wonder Stop by Davey Reedon. Really looking forward to that. The guy behind Stanley Parable. And if you watched the Stanley Parable Christmas special, you'd know how much I like him. Split Fiction. Split Fiction looks really good. I pre-ordered that. Metal Slug Tactics. I pre-ordered that. I'm not a huge Metal Slug guy, but I thought, sod it. It looks like fun, and yeah, I think... I don't know if I'll get as much play out of it as something like, say... I don't know. I'm more of a story guy. That's why I didn't really get on with Advance Wars Remake. To be fair, that was also down to its just general construction. It was just shitty. But yeah, I think that's what we're going to be really looking at this year. Not as many ludicrously expensive games, just because there aren't any. Investing more in the Polymega, playing more old stuff. I just want to play more old stuff. I might bust out the Dreamcast and play that for a while. I might do the same with the Saturn. It's been a while since I've busted out the Saturn. I've just mostly been playing it on Polymega. I might just bust out the Polymega again and play that. I mean, I've played these two collection games like once in the two months I've owned them. So yeah, whatever. I mean, we're looking at like next month for the next two to arrive. Hopefully with the controller in tow. Yes, please. Strictly so I have two classic controllers. Or not classic controllers, universal controllers for the Polymega. I'm hoping they announce new stuff. I think it will be exciting. But yeah, that's kind of where we are. And thank you for joining me. Next week, we're probably going to be looking into the 32X a bit more, revisiting that. I know I did a video on that last year, but I've bought like 3 new games and I've got big plans. I've got big plans for the 32X this year that kind of warrants its own video. So yeah, that's me signing off. and have a good